So, as I do normally, I was scrolling through TikTok.
What a surprise.
So, well, it's harvest. So, these are from an account, and someone goes, turning things my brothers, plural brothers, so more than one person saying this, turning things my brothers have said during harvest into inspirational quotes. And these just made me really giggle because I can hear them saying them. I don't know these people from Adam, but I can hear it.
Okay.
I give you 2 thumbs down, and if I had a third, I'd give that one to you too.
What is inspirational about that?
That's the funny thing. Some days are good and some are bad. I'm still waiting for you to have a good one. It's very abnormal for a combine to have to wait this long for a grain cart.
That's money. That's money.
It is money.
Mm-hmm.
This one I think is my favorite. If I had someone that knew what they were doing, I'd fire both of you.
I will say I had the chance to go out and shoot harvest a while ago, a couple weeks ago, and it does bring out a different side of everyone. The loopy, the
gotta get it done. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh shoot. I don't have anyone else to run it, so I have to let her. So obviously there's someone there that probably is not as equipped, and they're like, well, I don't got anyone else, so this is what I got to do.
I'm excited. I'm going to South Dakota in a few weeks to shoot harvest again, and there's somebody up there, a young woman who runs a crew.
Oh yeah,
and it'll be cool to see a female-led harvest crew. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Custom
before.
cutter.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's all I have. Hold on.
That's great.
Yeah, that's all. The last one is, how many times do I have to show you? You've been running it for 3 days. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
Harvest.
Oh, harvest brings out the best and worst in us. Or people. I'm not quite sure. Welcome back to Ask A Kansan, the podcast where we, the kind of thing that we've put on our billboards lately is a podcast for Kansans about Kansans.
I like that. Yeah.
Or is it about Kansans for Kansans? It's one of those two.
It works either way.
Yeah. So, also, if you see one of our digital billboards out there, take a picture and show us. We haven't seen them quite yet.
From our perspective, we're just wishing this into the air.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have some feedback that somebody's actually seeing it.
We would love that. Well, today's podcast is kind of fun. We get to talk about horses, but not just like horses in general. So we had Margaret Philbrick in. She's with Rainbow Meadows Equine Rescue. So they're out of JC. So without any further ado, here's Margaret. Hello.
Hi. Come on over.
You get this hot seat right here.
Okay.
How's it going?
Pretty good. And I brought you guys some gifts.
Oh, perfect.
Lovely.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
So we'll scoot this over here for you. You can move that up, down, however you're comfortable.
Okay.
It's kind of like a fist in front.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, I'm Sydney.
Nice to meet you, Sydney.
And I'm Gus.
Nice to meet you, Gus. I'm Margaret.
Nice to meet you, Margaret.
So
Here we
I'm
are.
excited.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Thanks for joining us today.
So tell us who you are, who you're with, and where you're from in Kansas.
So my name's Margaret Philbrick. I am the manager of volunteer and equine programs at Rainbow Meadows Rescue and Retirement in Junction City, Kansas. And I grew up in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay. How did you get from Wichita to JC?
It's a very long path. So we have to go back to 2010
Okay.
when I first met our founder, Karen Everhart, at Equifest of Kansas, which is a giant event. And I actually have my volunteer paperwork from 2010. So from there, I eventually moved. I went off to college. I've moved across the United States. And I got to a point in my career where I was like, I don't want to do this for money anymore. I want to do this for the horses. And I saw that Karen had a couple of job positions open, and I was like, I might as well apply. This seems like it'll fit for me. It'll put me closer to my family. And so I did. And I've been here since November of last year, so 2024. And I'm super excited to be a part of the organization as we are entering our 20th year.
How, I guess for people who don't know, what is Rainbow Meadows?
So Rainbow Meadows is an equine rescue, so horse rescue, but we also rescue mules, donkeys, miniature horses, all of that. And we work on rescuing, rehabilitating, and rehoming horses. So we get horses from multiple different walks of life, and we bring them in. And with the help of our generous volunteers, we help reintegrate them into society to hopefully adopt them out to forever homes. And we have like 160 acres of land. The horses get to live their best lives. They get to actually be horses, but they also get to have really positive experiences with humans. And that's the main focus that we have, is giving back to these animals that have given so much to us.
How many horses do you guys have at any given time?
Currently, we have 47 horses. 27 of the horses are rescue horses. And then we have a number of horses who are owned by volunteer, or who are adopted. I can't say owned, are adopted by volunteers, and they board at the facility. And then our founder also has her personal horses there. So we have a very large mixed herd that's very fun to watch.
Do they all share one space, or are there multiple?
So most of them share one space. The only ones who don't are, we have 4 miniature horses, or not, 3 minis and a miniature mule that live in a different barn just because they're smaller. They're not as courageous. They're not willing to kind of fight for their place in the herd. And so that group lives separately. And then we have a mini mule who does live out with the big horses and does very, very well. He's very sassy. We love him.
Does that number include kind of your retired horses? I know that you guys have options for people to come bring their aging horses and kind of sign them over, and they pay to have them live in this amazing space. Does that number include that?
Yes.
Okay.
And as of right now, we only have 1 horse in retirement.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll be able to add a few more, because I think that's such a valuable program to be able to offer people, because some horses just need to be retired and get to go live somewhere where they get care. And if you are somebody who can afford to do that, it's a great option. And we did have 1 horse in our retirement program who got retired in his 20s and was there till he was 43.
Wow. What's the average lifespan?
Normally about 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So 43 was pretty crazy.
Tell us a little bit about the organization, how it got started, how long it's been around. All of that.
So Rainbow Meadows was started in 2005 by Karen and David Everhart. And Karen started the organization because she had retired from the healthcare system, and David was retiring from the military. And so then Karen started the organization because people kept giving her horses. And she's like, what do I do with these random horses? And she would get 1 or 2, and she was like, well, I'll adopt them out and have a small fee for that. And finally it got to a point in 2005 where she noticed there was a consistent need for this kind of program to exist, because people get horses that are too much for them. They run into life situations. They get diagnosed with something where they're like, I can't do this. So Karen then decided to start Rainbow Meadows, and originally they were in Sedan, Kansas, which is much farther south. And the organization grew, and they've adopted hundreds of horses out. We're actually in the process of mapping out where all of our horses have gone to, because I'm like, that would be a really cool thing to showcase to people, because we have horses all over the United States.
Wow.
So Karen started with that, and she learned a lot through experience. And she also noticed that there was a necessary need for somebody who is educated in horses to help law enforcement. And so she has helped with some very large scale seizures. The largest she's done is 80 horses.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And she navigated that and worked through it and made sure those horses found homes. And so from Sedan, Kansas, they were there till 2020. They moved up to Junction City so Karen could be closer to her family. And from there, the program grew, because Junction City offers you a lot more people than Sedan did. And so the program grew. Now we have a volunteer program that roughly has 50 to 60 active volunteers a month.
Wow.
And we offer all of the training for people. We let you interact with our farrier, with the K-State vets. We pride ourselves in being a very educational experience. So that's one part of what we do. And then we have another part of the program that is for like pre-vet students, where they can come out and get volunteer hours doing things, not necessarily handling horses, but just relating to horse welfare. And then we also offer just plain general education to the public. So we've been in this location for 5 years, and the program's grown like crazy. And so that's what necessitated somebody like me to come in to start navigating parts of the programs that Karen can't necessarily focus on as the executive director. And it's been a really cool experience. And I recommend that people come out and play with ponies.
What does a volunteer like entail? Like when you say volunteers, what are these volunteers doing?
So the volunteers come out, and normally they can do a large range of things. A lot of people prefer just doing the feeding. So in the morning, it's about 3 hours where we put out feed, we bring in horses, we clean up after the horses, and we do any necessary checks on things that need to get done. And after we do that, because that's our big thing, we can do training. So the volunteers actually get to count it as hours to learn how to do the training and work with the horses. They can help with admin work. So that can be updating the equine activity records, helping us write adoption contracts, learning to navigate our record keeping system and what goes into that. And then we also have facilities, because 160 acres is a lot of land. And so it's maintaining the facilities, learning how to maintain the fences, learning what we have to do to keep water clean, fresh, ready for the horses, learning about the maintenance of the buildings and also the maintenance of the land, because we are in the Flint Hills. So we participate in range burning.
Oh, okay.
So we actually encourage our volunteers to come out and participate in that, which not a lot of people get to do. And it's a super cool experience to guide people through that kind of stuff and explain to them, this is why we do it. This is when we do it. Here's all the requirements for us to do it legally and safely. Because people don't know. People just think, oh, you can go burn range willy-nilly. And I'm like, no.
That's not how that works.
And so that's what volunteering entails. And it's a big thing. They also help us with our community events. So we do a Christmas at the Stables events where we decorate the whole ranch, and you can either drive through and look at the lights, or you can park, and it's a per carload fee. And you can come in and you can meet the horses and meet the staff.
Oh, that's cool.
And interact with the current volunteers and learn more about what we do. And then we also have like a gala in October this year where that board is actually entirely made up of volunteers, except for me at this point.
Wow.
And that's an event where we invite people from all over to come in and see what we're doing, what we have planned in the year ahead. We have a silent auction, and it allows us to interact with people we don't normally get to interact with. So there's what volunteers get to do.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Are you all organized as a nonprofit or?
Yes, we are a 501c3.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So, you mentioned only because I dove down deep into your guys' website and looked at all of the bios for the adoptable horses, and they're flipping hilarious. When it comes to record keeping on these horses, can you walk me through that? Because obviously you have to track training and feeding and like how they came in, what their progress is. How intense is that?
It's very intense. So I can just like walk you through the basic structure of our adoption folder if you came to adopt a horse. So our adoption folder has a picture of the horse on it, and then it has the dental records of the horse. You go to the next page, it has the vaccination records of the horse, which we put in all of our records that we have. So all of the dental records we have for the horse, and this could be records even from if they were adopted previously or before they were adopted, all of their vaccination records, so there is a disease called equine infectious anemia. Mm-hmm. The testing for it is called Coggins. If a horse gets diagnosed with equine infectious anemia, it is immediate euthanasia. Mm. So we do testing once a year. And there's a whole lot of beliefs on that, but we have all of our documents saying when this horse was tested, they were negative for equine infectious anemia. And we keep that updated so that if a horse were to come up positive, we can be like, this is the time frame that would have happened. Mm. And then our next page is our adoption schedule, which writes out the day you adopted the horse and then when you're supposed to turn in all your reports for the horse. So we ask people for the first 6 months, they have an adopted horse, they send us a list of what has happened. So did they get their feet done? Did they get their teeth done? Did they have any injuries? Did they need to see the vet? We like to keep track of that. And then after 6 months, it goes to being a year. So on the day of the adoption, they're supposed to, or the anniversary of the adoption, they're supposed to send us in their yearly report with all of that information on it. The next page is what we call our equine activity record. So the equine activity record has everything from the moment the horse came to Rainbow Meadows. Mm-hmm. Everything that's happened since then. Pictures of any injuries that we had to treat with medicine, any vet visits that had to happen, hoof care visits, all of that. So we have some horses that have been there since 2012.
Wow. That's a big boulder.
Yeah. And so we keep that on Google Docs because that's the easiest place to keep a lot of information. And anytime something happens, I go in and I click away and update it. And so that is probably the most interesting thing a lot of people get to see because most people, you get a horse and it's just, here's a horse.
Yeah.
But with us, it's like, no, here's everything you need to know about this horse. And if they have training issues, like I have no issues sending training documents with the horses. I keep a journal for each horse to track what they're doing, how they're doing, what things I think need to change versus what things I think are working or I hope are working. Because training horses is not a straight line thing. And then our next page after we have the schedule is our contract. And our contract is 6 pages long. And it is intense. But our goal is to protect these horses that have come to us. Like whether they came to us through an owner surrender, a legal seizure, or because of a trust. Our goal is to protect them. So some of our rules are the horses cannot be bred, the horses cannot be sold. If something happens, the horse is to be returned to us, 100% absolutely. And like, if the horse moves from the location we approved, they have to get a new facility inspection done and get that sent to us so we can document it in the system so we know where the horse is. Because a lot of people move and they don't tell you. And then it's like, we got a report about this horse, but it's not where it's supposed to be.
I feel like you all could make leaps and bounds in human health care, or at least in my own file management.
Yeah. Karen, before she did this, she was an executive director in a hospice system.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that checks out. Okay.
So she's like, we got to keep notes for everything. Like,
Good on her.
everything, there is a note.
Are there any laws that govern like this kind of record keeping?
So this kind of record keeping is abnormal because a lot of rescues will adopt out a horse and then they never see them again. They're like, after a year, they're hands off. And that's a requirement with some organizations that provide grants, is after a year, you sign over ownership of the horse. We don't do that. We retain ownership of the horses because we want people to know that this horse will always have a place, no matter what.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then after the contract, we have other information, which is all information that the horse came with.
Okay.
So if we have records of something abnormal that happened with the horse before they came to us, or just something that doesn't fit in our general files, it goes there.
Other.
Yeah, it's just other information. Like, I love going through it because I'll find out things about our horses, and I'm like, that makes sense. Because somebody was asking me, oh, has this mare ever had a baby? And I'm like, actually, yeah, she did have a baby. That's why she is so mothering towards the littles, is she's had a baby before. So she's like, oh, baby, I love you. And I'm like, that's not a baby, but okay.
Yeah.
It is small.
Or if they came in with other horses or other.
Yeah. Yes. So
I think we'll take a quick break and be right back. This episode is sponsored by Renaissance Cafe. Serving Northern Italian cuisine prepared with a fresh, contemporary influence, the Renaissance Cafe is one of Kansas's favorite restaurants. Whether you're planning a romantic dinner date, a family celebration, or an intimate meal with friends, the Renaissance provides a unique dining experience with an old-world atmosphere. Open Thursday through Saturday evenings, the Renaissance Cafe is located just south of Salina in Assyria, Kansas. Visit renaissancecafeassyria.com to book your reservation today. Welcome back. So how did you first get interested in horses?
So that has been a lifelong interest. My parents really messed up when they named me. So I'm named after my great-grandmother, and my great-grandmother was one heck of a horsewoman. Like, that is the thing that, she was from a fairly small town in Kansas called Allen, and people would always say, yeah, Margaret was great with horses. She could outride any cowboy. She had horses only she could ride. And she was an inspiring figure to me. And then my parents will tell people I'm named after the Fleetwood Mac song, Rhiannon. That's my middle name. Rhiannon's actually the Welsh goddess of horses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fun fact if you didn't know that. And I have now in the industry met a lot of other women who share that same name. And it's so funny because we're all like, well, maybe it is something in the name. Maybe it's just a calling to do this because there's some higher reason for it. But I started riding when I was 10. I actually saved up my Girl Scout cookie money to go to a horse camp in Wichita. And I was hooked. I was like, this is what I want to do. And it got to a point where my mom was like, okay, well, if you want to do this seriously, then I guess I'll start taking lessons. And so then it became a mother-daughter thing. And from there, it's just stuck. My parents got me a horse when I was 12, and we had him till I was 27.
Wow.
And he went from being my horse to being my mom's horse. And when I was 17 or 18, I really sat down and thought about what I wanted to do with my life. And I was like, I want to train horses. Like, that's what I want to do. So I actually went to school in Missouri to William Woods University and got a degree in equine science.
Wow.
So that was an experience that allowed me to grow a lot and get out into the industry. And I had already made mistakes in an environment where it was okay to make mistakes. So I learned a lot that set me up to do really well in the industry. And then I was just like, well, this is what I want to do. I can do a lot of other things, but I want to work with horses. So stuck with that.
Wow.
You said you've traveled all over the U.S. What places have you been able to train in?
So I went to school in Missouri. From Missouri, I moved to Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
And at that particular job, we spent a lot of time on the road going to horse shows. So I got the chance to spend a lot of time down in Arizona. I got to go over to Illinois, Oklahoma quite often. And then when we realized that me staying there was going to stagnate me, the choice was made that I left that job and I took a job out in California. And I loved that job. It was probably one of the most defining jobs of my life because it was so much hard work, but I got to see the real nitty gritty of it. I got to help foal out mares. I learned about that entire side of the process. I learned how to work with young horses and work with horses that came from interesting environments and navigate that to help them become high-performing show horses. And then from there, I moved out to Pennsylvania, and I was a...
Hold on.
You're like, whoa.
Okay, we're on this
California to
coast. Now we're going to the
Pennsylvania,
other one. Okay, I'm with you. Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so then I moved out to Pennsylvania where I was a head trainer at a facility with about 15 horses. And that was so fun and so cool, but there was a part of me that fell out of love with showing because it was so much about the performative aspect of horses. And I was like, horses don't have to be performative. Horses are healing. When you take away that aspect, you lose everything about what makes this sport what it is. And I got to learn a lot. I got to work with some incredibly talented people. But there was a part of my heart that called me home, and there was a part of my mind that said this no longer satisfies what I want to be in the world. So then I came back to Kansas.
I had a question, but I'm really stuck on the California to Pennsylvania
That's a hard
aspect
shift
of
right
it.
there.
Oh, these jobs aren't just stuff you find on Indeed. Is it all networking, or maybe there's a whole Indeed section that I'm not aware of? Like, how do you find these positions?
So the job in Nebraska I found through Facebook.
Okay.
And I was working at a barn in Wichita at the time. Like, I had just graduated college, and things got really weird there. And I was like, I'm out. And I was like, this looks perfect. Like, I get to learn, I get to travel, I get to do some stuff. And it was really great for the time I was there. And then the job in California, my best friend was actually the assistant trainer there at the time. And I hadn't really dove into that part of the industry that hard, and I saw a listing there's a website called Equistaff. So I saw a listing on Equistaff, and I was like, I'll just send an email. And then they saw that I was from Woods, and they were like, do you know Mary? And I'm like, well, she's actually one of my best friends. So then I was there, and then the job in Pennsylvania was actually another Facebook ad. I was just casually like, well, and I didn't really think I would fit for the job, but I was like, why not? Like,
why not move coast to coast? I know Pennsylvania's technically not on the coast, but it's basically coast to coast in my eyes. But
yeah, it's like, why not just move from as far west as possible all the way out east?
You probably have the same question. So go ahead.
I doubt it.
No, go.
What's one thing you wish everyone knew about horses?
I wish people dove more into the healing aspect of horses, because horses are healing. They're not going to judge you for any of the outside appearance things that humans are. They're not going to judge you for your struggles. They're going to judge you based off of how you show up for them and how you choose to navigate and handle situations. And I wish more people would see that, because I think working with animals teaches us how to better interact with people and makes us kinder to other humans. And I wish more people would see that and understand that.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm gonna mull on that for a minute. Do you think and you kind of answered this in your last one, but I kind of want to go more into it. Do you think it's that way across all types of animals or just kind of horses and their personalities?
I think it's that way across all types of animals because animals will tell you if you're not a good person.
That's fair.
They read the vibes. I'm like, if my cat doesn't like somebody, I'm immediately like, I literally picked her up off the street. So I'm like, if she doesn't like somebody, we have a problem.
That's fair.
And like, if my dog likes somebody, I'm like, oh, this is a good person. And horses are very much the same way. Most animals, they tell you, and I'm like, okay, if they don't like them, then that's not a person I want in my life.
I have a tangent again.
I have a tangent too. So
Okay.
your tangent first.
I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and so there's horses in those films. But I'm curious: are there any movies or just popular culture that you feel really captures horses well? Like they do a very good job.
Like, I liked Hildago. That's probably my favorite one, which
Okay.
is
I'm familiar with that.
yes, I hope so. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan,
Okay, I'm familiar with Lord of the Rings. I'm not familiar with Hildago.
yeah. Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
He's in Hildago.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Yes.
I need to watch this.
Yes. And that one's very good. I feel like there's a lot in movies that's dishonest about horses where it's like, oh, I'm this troubled person and I'm going to fix them. I'm like, I think they're going to fix you first. I think that's how it is it's not, there is a level of mutual exchange, but I think that it comes with the horses fix us first before we can do anything to help them. And I've seen that time and time again where I see somebody who struggles a lot with interacting with the world. And I'm like, go out there and just sit. Just sit in the quiet. Watch how they interact. And inevitably, one of the horses will come up and approach them. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is so different. And I'm like, yeah, because you're not going to force anything on them. They make the choice to interact with you. And that is super important. And I don't see that often in a lot of horse media.
Horse media.
Yeah, I believe you.
I love that. I kind of want to go back to, we're going back to Rainbow Meadows. A question that popped up. How often do horses get adopted? Is that a monthly thing? Is that it
depends on the year and what's going on in the economy. So, and it depends on if people are willing to step up and show good stewardship of their animals. Because they get into the process and they're like, wait, you're going to come look at my facility? You are asking me to do all these things? And some people find it very invasive and some people find it absolutely amazing. That we're like, no, we keep track of these horses for the rest of their lives. That is what we have promised them. And so this year has been kind of slow on adoptions. But last year, I think we adopted out like 25 horses.
Oh, wow.
And we did have several returns at the end of the year. We had a large group of horses that were adopted out to a camp in the Kansas City area.
Okay.
So they had 8 horses they wanted us to take. And it actually wound up being like there were 9 horses they wanted us to take. One of the horses was not originally ours, but she was very bonded to one of the horses that was originally ours. But a different decision was made for those 2 due to their age. And so then we got 7 of the horses back. And out of that group of 7, only 2 that are left are up for adoption still.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. The rest of them have been adopted out or are fostered. And so those 2, I'm kind of picky about who they go to because I'm like, they're kind of bonded. They care about each other a lot. So let's keep them together. So it's all up to the economics of what's going on because horse ownership is expensive. But we also make sure people know that if they run into any situation like that, we'll take the horses back. They can be gone for 10 years. We'll take them back. they wear the brand, they have a home.
Oh, okay. So you brand them before they.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, all of our horses, they get a little, I call it a cutie mark. They get a little freeze brand, and it is registered in the Kansas brand book.
Okay.
And so all of our horses have that brand. So we've had horses that have wound up at auction due to like a divorce situation.
Oh, and then you find out about it.
The brand gets posted on Facebook, and it's immediately like, no, that brand belongs to this rescue. And we will go get the horse and bring them home. Yeah, because that is a very large violation.
I didn't even know a brand book existed. That's very interesting.
Yes, if you have a family that's local to Kansas, you can, and you're like, they owned a cattle farm at one point in time. If you know the years, you can go find it online and find what brand they had.
Fascinating. Wow. Well, let's take one more break and then we'll wrap things up. Have you heard people in your organization say, we need video? At Feely Creative, we develop videos to drive your marketing strategy. We are problem solvers, crafting messaging and visuals to achieve business goals. Whether you need to share your organization's identity, convey company culture, attract the right people to your team, or put your products on display, Feely will help you communicate effectively and get back to what you do best. Let's get creative. Feely Creative. Welcome back once again. I'm not exactly sure why I want to ask this question, but I feel like you might have a good answer for it. Do you have like a best memory with a horse?
So I had a super fabulous Arabian gelding growing up, and my favorite memory was taking him out to the Gypsum Hills in Kansas outside of Medicine Lodge, and we were going for like a 3-day trail ride. And we had his little pin set up, but we had a major storm in the night and the pin fell. And I woke up the next morning and he's standing at my car because I camped in the car because it's raining so much. And he's like, "What's up? What are we doing?" And I was like, "Okay."
We're not running away, man.
He's like, "The child's in the car. I'm not leaving my child." I was like, that could have gone so poorly. He was such a good horse. Very cool horse.
3-day trail ride. I didn't even know that was something you could do in Kansas.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff like that around here, especially when you get into the Gypsum Hills and other areas. There's also a lot of endurance riding that goes on, and endurance riding is a big like national level thing because you can do like short endurance rides that are like 10 or 15 miles. You can do 25 miles, 50 miles, all the way up to the Tevis Cup, which is 100 miles.
Wow.
And that is very dedicated people who spend a lot of time with their horses and spend a lot of time focusing on the conditioning and the work needed to do that. And I think it's so cool.
What is kind of a common misconception through either the work that you do or something that people just really don't understand that you're trying to get the word out a lot?
Well, and I think when it pertains to the rescue, we can't do this without the support of the public. Like a lot of people don't realize that. They think there has to be money somewhere. And I'm like, no, we're funded entirely by donors. Like, we are so lucky to be able to lease the land we're on. We are so lucky to have donors who have donated enough that we've been able to build a proper quarantine barn and do the fencing there. All of that stuff comes from the generous donations of other people. And it's amazing because like all of our medical care with the horses, we do a Valentine's Day donation event where you can sponsor a horse you can do a half sponsorship for $100 or a full sponsorship for $200, and you get a personalized card.
Oh, that's cute.
Then that covers all of their basic medical stuff for the year. So their dentals, their vaccines, and their Coggins. And
Coggins?
That was that.
Yeah, the equine infectious anemia
Oh,
testing.
okay, Coggins. Okay, got it. Okay, I'm on the same page. Keep going.
Yes.
I was like, that's just an odd thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's
We're
named
good.
after the guy who like figured it out and created the testing for it.
Gotcha.
So that covers that, and that's all of our horses are sponsored for that.
That strikes me. Does that actually cover your cost?
Yeah.
That's I'm amazed.
It seems really cheap
yeah.
for some reason.
We do a lot of like grant searching specifically for vaccines. So the companies that create vaccines do grants where it's through the Unwanted Horse Coalition, I believe, and they do vaccine grants. So you get X number of vaccines.
Oh, that's nice.
And because we have so many horses, a lot of places are willing to cut costs a little bit in order to do a wholesale type of deal. And it helps when you can do that.
Yeah.
So
How much does K-State help you guys? Or are they in the...
they do all of our regular wellness checks. They do our vaccines. They do all of our dentals. We have had some really dire situations occur where they have come out for us when like nobody else would.
Oh, wow.
And like we've had other times where they couldn't do that and we've been able to call local vets and come out and help us. But they have been amazing to us.
We've taken some pets to the Kansas State Vet Hospital, and yeah, what a tremendous resource for every pet and animal owner in the area.
Yeah. My follow-up was, do they like are you guys involved in the veterinary school at all? Do they have students come out or not?
Yes, we have a lot of vet students who are active volunteers and a lot of pre-vet students who are active volunteers. Cool. And a lot of the girls, I'm always like, well, if you want to do this, I'll help you find like an internship or an experience to go to, because I was out in the professional side of this networking for so long where I'm like, oh yeah, I see things where I'm like, these girls should go do that. This would be a good learning experience for them. This would be a teaching experience. And so I try to help with that as much as possible. I can't do anything for the small animal stuff, but the large animal stuff, I'm like, yes, I can help you through this.
So where can people learn more about if they're interested in volunteering or adopting or visiting or donating? Yeah, where can they learn more?
So they can go to our website, rainbowmeadowsranch.com, and they can click through all the tabs. They can do a contact us directly, and that'll send us an email that we can respond to. They can also go in and create an account and then pick if they want to be an adopter, if they want to be a volunteer, any of that, and fill out the paperwork. And then I get back to them and I'm like, okay, if you're wanting to be a volunteer, we do volunteer orientations on the second Sunday of every month. Wow. And that's just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and to make sure they understand all of our little weird rules and regulations. And then I'm actually setting it up because we do a leveling system to provide more safety for people. So after they complete the orientation, I'm going to have a little like 1 or 2 hour class every Saturday where they come in and they learn more about the practical side of horse handling and the theory of horse handling. So they can understand like, these are the basics of what you need to do to handle the horse, but here is how you learn to read their behavior and the basics of managing a health situation. And then we go on from there to more advanced handling skills and how to actually think for yourself while you're handling the horses. Because a lot of people get stuck in the, I have to have direction for everything. And I'm like, no, you have to think for yourself. And that's true in a lot of aspects of our lives is you don't need to be given direction for everything. You have to take that time to step back and say, what can I do in this moment to fix this situation? And I think horses activate that in a more urgent sense than doing something in an office. And I think it helps people think on their feet faster and learn better problem-solving skills.
Well,
I do have a side note. Do you do any type of, this is a random question only because the think for yourself thing is really big with me. Like I'm, if I have to give you every single direction, I'm not thrilled with you. So, do you do any type of training for like I don't know, offices or corporate work. Not that we need it here. Just saying. I'm just saying in general.
I probably could. In
You
all
probably
honesty.
could.
Yeah.
Think about that. Do you do any retreats at all? Like, this is, I don't know. I got
Yes,
nothing
come
for
out,
you.
learn how to work with horses, learn how to take direction, but also learn how to think for yourself. Because there's one part of it where it's like, cool, you can take directions. Now, can you make a choice yourself and follow through with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
Like some
that. I want that
powerful
on a platter.
life lessons there.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Ask
Yes,
A
thank you.
Kansan.
Thank you for having me. This has been a fun experience.
Want to spread your organization's message across Kansas? Consider becoming a sponsor. Ask A Kansan has a unique focus on Kansas and its people. By sponsoring our podcast, your organization can reach people from Canarado to Kansas City, Wichita to Washington, and all the great places in between. We have a variety of sponsorship packages available to fit your budget and needs. For more information, visit askakansan.com/sponsorships or call us at 785-571-9507.
Hope you enjoyed that interview with Margaret Philbrick. There's a lot of these interviews that we do where my interest in the subject matter isn't, just huge, but I just tap into other people's passion for their subjects, for their things that make them excited, makes me excited.
Yeah, it's that also when someone's super knowledgeable in what they're doing and can really speak true to it, then it kind of pulls you in.
Mm-hmm.
I've always like every girl have always wanted a pony or a horse. Like growing up, I love the idea of it. Granted, I know it's a lot more work than what it is, which is probably why this rescue it probably exists. I'm sure there's a lot of ponies that people got and they're like, oh, this is not what I thought it was. But kind of my favorite part of that conversation was her journey. So the California to Pennsylvania thing, I still don't think I'm over. Because that's just a leap. And one question that I wish I would have asked her is, you've lived on all these different places. What's it like to come back to Kansas after that? Because California to Pennsylvania, that's huge. And then coming back to Kansas after that.
No, I agree. I was just blown away by the the amount of standardization and paperwork that they go through. And I mean, that's like, there's times when those things can become burdensome, but they care enough to do that. They care enough to go to the level where they can rest at night knowing that all of their work that they've done in the past to care for these horses will be borne out by them having good lives. And that's just impressive. And yeah, it's nobody gets into adding paperwork for fun, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, are you ready for another exciting segment of Where in the Rectangle?
Sure.
It's been a few weeks since we've recorded one of these.
I did one with Tim.
Oh, really? I'm gonna have to watch that.
It was an impromptu one.
Ooh.
So it was kind of, you'll have to, I did one with Tim when you were gone on the last episode.
Well, I'm pretty sure you've heard of today's place. I will be curious to see if you can place it on the map. Sydney, where in the rectangle is Greensburg, Kansas?
Oh, shoot. I should know this. I really should.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think I could have probably put it on the map either. So no.
Greensburg. I know it's kind of south central, isn't it? That's what I'm gonna tell myself. Okay. I'm gonna go with Stafford.
You're close.
Stafford County.
That's probably where I would have put it too. So let me get it here. So Sydney said Stafford, and the correct answer is Kiowa, which is just a little bit further southwest. And I actually have some visual aids today to help me a little bit to tell the story of Greensburg. So until May 4th, 2007, Greensburg was best known for its hole in the ground. Literally, it's a big well. It's the largest hand-dug well in the United States.
Wow.
It was dug in 1887 or through 88, and it's 32 feet wide and 109 feet deep. It was dug with picks, shovels, pulleys, and barrels. And the reason they did this was to provide water to steam locomotives until the 1930s with dieselization. But more recently, it's become a tourist attraction and even houses a Palisite meteorite in its museum. But things changed dramatically for Greensburg on May 4th, 2007, at about 9:45 p.m., when an incredibly powerful tornado, nearly 1.7 miles wide, with winds near 205 miles per hour, wiped out Greensburg. It carved a 28.8-mile path and stayed on the ground for over an hour.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, the vast majority of tornadoes are like EF1 or EF2. Like, they're not as powerful. These super powerful ones are rare, but they're terrifying when you learn about them.
What year was this again?
2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were sophomores in high school. No, freshmen.
Yeah. We have somebody in the control room right now who knows a lot more about weather than I do. So this is going to be painful for him. But yeah, so I just want to point out here. So on the left is a radar image. You can see a big old hook on that, which is one thing we always look for in Kansas when we're looking at radar. And then on the right is the rotation, and you can see that red and green there. And really well defined. So it was a scary tornado. 11 residents of Greensburg passed away, sadly, during this event, and 95% of the town structures were damaged or destroyed. And here we can see the path, and you can see, so those are the different EF levels. Mm-hmm. And so, the actual EF5 was only in kind of the middle of the town for a short section. And then the worst of the EF5 was outside of town. But I've seen, my grandmother's house was destroyed by a EF, it might have been an EF0. I mean, it was a small, but it was enough to lift the house off its foundation. And I cannot even imagine witnessing that firsthand, and how scary that must have been. So the debris was massive. There was over 800,000 cubic yards removed of debris. Emergency teams from the National Guard, from FEMA, from the Red Cross, they arrived soon after. And here's a satellite image of before and after.
Wow.
You can tell it's just, desolation.
Yeah.
There may have been some trees that survived in some places, but, Greensburg was known for having a really healthy tree base, and it lost it. And even today, unfortunately, when you drive through Greensburg, you can still kind of see how there's a lack of trees.
That is wild.
So throughout the night and into the next day, residents and first responders searched under rubble. With power out, limited utilities, and hazardous materials, cleanup was dangerous and painstaking. Just some images here from it. An EF5 is so powerful that it can literally just flatten buildings. It doesn't just make them fall down. There's times when there's just the foundation left.
Yeah.
So the EPA handed fuel and transformer issues, and the entire town was emptied for safety. Kansans from all over the state came to help clear debris and offer aid.
Yeah, I remember that.
And on May 6th, President Bush declared Kiowa County a federal disaster area. And a few days later on the 9th, he visited Greensburg via Marine One. Standing amid the devastation, he praised the town's resilience and pledged federal help. And soon after that, Kansas Governor Kathleen Sebelius called for the greenest town in rural America. She wanted to rebuild Greensburg in a totally new way. So external planners and NGOs and universities introduced ambitious proposals, including wind farms, LEED buildings, net zero homes. And, within Greensburg itself, there was a lot of, tough decisions that had to be made. Many people, decided to leave and live elsewhere. But in town hall meetings, relevant to this green proposal, there was a lot that were worried about the cost, but there were many that saw it as an opportunity to recast Greensburg in kind of this beautiful new way. So eventually they did decide to move forward towards kind of that green future. And every major public building was built or rebuilt to LEED Platinum standards.
Oh, wow.
The hospital became the nation's first carbon neutral hospital by 2010. The Arts Center, City Hall, The school and museum incorporated solar, geothermal, rainwater capture, daylighting, and high-efficiency HVAC systems. And today, Greensburg runs on 100% wind energy. I haven't been able to confirm that, so I'm not completely confident, but I do know that there's a wind farm on the south side that helps power the town. And the Big Well Museum, while it suffered significant damage in the storm, the well itself was fine, and they rebuilt this beautiful space you see there. And now that I believe that museum has been expanded to talk about the tornado itself and how that affected it. So, Greensburg is smaller than it was before. The population fell from about 1,500 in 2000 to 777.
Wow.
So, and, I think I would blame a lot of that just on, obviously the town being destroyed, not just on, obviously everybody's not going to be interested in living in a green place, unfortunately. But I think it is just a living case study in resilience and rebranding and of a community coming together to try to create something new in the ashes of what remains. And it's remarkable just to see it survive such a devastating storm. And it's, about the most powerful storm you can experience. So I encourage you, if you find yourself in central southwest Kansas, to drive through Greensburg. Because while, the ghosts of the tornado are still a little bit present, you can kind of tell it's a delightfully different small town in Kansas. I have just a couple little asides. There's a woman who is really active in my parents' church for a long time, who survived the storm, and I never got to hear her talk about it, but my parents always said how much she moved to Salina directly after, and I think it was the lack of trees was one of the things that made her move, was just she wanted to live someplace with trees. Then I went to tennis camp at Bethany College in Lindsborg.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember the name of this now girl when I knew her, but she was a high school student at Greensburg, and she was a junior when I was a freshman. And so she came back to tennis camp after the storm, and she talked about what it was like to live through it. And they had classes in shipping containers, modular type buildings and stuff. And
because we weren't even out of school yet, because it was early May, right?
If I remember correctly, I think it was maybe the night of prom, in Greensburg.
In Greensburg.
Yeah. So anyway, tornadoes are kind of part of living in Kansas, and we're fortunate in that something like this happens very rarely. But I think it is important to remember those few times that it does happen and let those times remind us how seriously we need to take it.
Well, and everyone remembers the devastation, but I had zero idea about them completely just, okay, if we're going to start from literally the ground up, let's do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no idea about the Greensburg.
Yeah, I think it's creative. And one of the things that was kind of cool in my research was seeing the geographic spread of the people that offered ideas to Greensburg in their rebuild. I think I saw somebody from Canada, from a university in Canada. I think there's universities in Europe that also participate. I mean, it was like, it wasn't just like Kansas State or something, it was a whole bunch of different people all over the world saying, okay, you went through this terrible thing. Let's help you envision a brighter future. Yeah.
That is fascinating.
Yep. Well, that's all I've got for We're in the Rectangle for today.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Can I get on my soapbox for a second?
Get on a soapbox.
Okay. So I have nothing wrong with the American bison. I like the American bison. I think they're beautiful animals. They're large. They're unique. But I don't necessarily, I think I have a proposal for a different state animal.
Okay.
The prairie dog.
Okay.
Okay. And this, you'll see where I'm going with this.
Okay.
Prairie dogs, if you ask a farmer, prairie dogs are incredibly resilient. If you're an animal lover, don't look up anything about this because it's very dark. But farmers have to do terrible things to get rid of prairie dogs in their fields. But that's because prairie dogs are incredibly resilient. They live in communities that are widespread and well built, and they're very curious animals. If you've ever driven by a prairie dog village, you've probably seen them. Have you ever driven by a prairie dog village?
I've seen one in a zoo.
Okay. Yeah. There's one out by Canopolis Reservoir that is kind of out in the country a little bit, but they're always like looking up, looking at the horizon, like trying to figure out what's going on. If you stop, they will come and look at you. So here's my pitch. That's what we need to be incredibly resilient communities. We need to be curious. We need to keep our eyes on the horizon, and we need to dig deep holes. I'm joking.
Maybe roots?
Yeah, have deep roots. Sure. So that's my pitch for why our state animal should be the prairie dog and not the American bison or buffalo. Bison.
I'm going to take that one further.
Okay.
So if it were to change, do you think farmers would still be allowed to get rid of?
Ooh, now you're asking the hard-hitting questions. Yeah. Yeah.
Where the buffalo, bison, whatever we're calling them these days, are already on the endangered list, so we obviously can't kill them. So.
I mean, you can buy bison.
I guess you can. Are they still on the endangered list?
I don't know.
How does that work?
Well, if you're an expert out there and you know something to tell us about
getting more questions
about
than
the
answers.
American bison, we'd love to have you on to talk to us about it.
We could get Maxwell Wildlife.
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be great
That
to hear more, especially because I mean there was a point in time when it was probably one of the most commonly cited things in our state, and now unless you know where to look, they're pretty hard to find.
There used to be a herd between Salina and McPherson that I could see all the time on the way to and from work, but I don't know where they went.
As was referenced earlier in this episode, I spent some time in Western Kansas filming harvest, and one of my favorite things about being out there was getting to hear the Meadowlark song. Because have you guys heard Meadowlark song recently?
Oh, not recently.
I remember in my childhood when I went out into the country, I could hear them a lot, and I don't remember that in the last decade or so. And in Western Kansas, there's still some great Meadowlark song. I may throw in a video of me reacting to Meadowlark song. It's kind of painful, but
yeah, the only song that I've heard is the Mockingjay.
Oh, we got a Hunger Games fan.
I recently rewatched the first one. I don't remember why I fell in love with the series. Granted, I watched all the movies and then read all the books.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah. Well, only for some series. Like, I did that with Twilight. I watched, I think, at least the first and second movie, and then started the books. Harry Potter, I went first movie, second book, third book, fourth book, fifth book, and then watched all the movies and then read the seventh book.
Power to you.
I think.
Yeah.
But no, like, I'm telling you, I watched the first movie, did not read the first book. I just immediately went to the book 2.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. I just finished reading the Silo series, and there's a series on Apple TV Plus that is about basically the first book, but they are divergent paths. If you had tried to do that with that series, I don't think it would have gone very well for you.
I did do the Divergent movies too. I watched them all and then I read all the books.
Except for the last movie in the Divergent series that they never made.
Yeah.
Which still ticks me off.
I guess I never realized that before.
Yeah. I will say the quality.
Yeah. It's kind of like Ready Player One, where that movie is not even remotely close to the book.
Ready Player One and Aragon win my award for worst movie adaptation of a book. They're both. They did lasting damage to the franchise itself.
Yeah.
So, well,
anyway.
We've gone on enough tangents for one episode. Thank you for listening to Ask A Kansan. Just a few requests we might have of you if you're a listener, first time or returning. Would you tell somebody you know about the podcast? Would you maybe like and subscribe to the podcast? And if you have an idea of somebody that you think would make a good guest or a good topic that we haven't reached or a good town that we should feature on Where in the Rectangle, please let us know.
Yes. or if your town would like to sponsor a Where in the Rectangle. Give us all the details, let us know, and then you can reach us at info@feelycreative.com. That's info@FILIcreative.com.
Well, thanks a lot for tuning in, and hope you have a great summer week in Kansas.
Bye.